everybody, welcome back to E Cubed. Today's word is very popular in the news these days. It can be a noun and it can be a verb. It is quarantine. The pronunciation as a noun, quarantine. The pronunciation as a verb, quarantine. It's the same. There's no difference. To quarantine someone, a quarantine has been put into place. So the noun, a quarantine. A quarantine is, it could be an area where a person who is sick is put. So this person is sick and he's put in this area, and this area is secure. Other people cannot go into this area. Usually when we talk about a quarantine, it's for a period of time. 7 days, 21 days, whatever, who knows, 48 days, 60 days, whatever. So, nowadays in America and around the world, the talk is about the Ebola virus. Ebola virus. And they say that if you get the virus, that the virus can stay in your body and not show signs of sickness for 21 days. So many people in America think that if a person comes from Western Africa, Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, if they come from this country to the United States, automatically they should be put in a 21-day quarantine. This is the subject nowadays in America. And this is especially for doctors. So we have many doctors and nurses who are volunteering their medical services over here. Great people, lovely people to risk their lives helping other people. But these people come back to America and I don't know, should they be put in a 21-day quarantine where they cannot be with their family, they cannot hug their family? Now, also, we need to quarantine people. We need to put people into a quarantine. So, to quarantine means to put something, a person, into a quarantine. We can also put plants into a quarantine. We can quarantine plants. Now, this is interesting. The American military, we have many soldiers who are here in Western Africa. President Obama sent them to build hospitals. I did not know that the job of a soldier was to build hospitals. Is that a good use of our military? I'm not sure. But anyway, he sent these soldiers to Africa to help, which is a good thing. Helping is a great thing. Build hospitals. And the military is automatically, after they finish, sending them to Italy and put into a 21-day quarantine. The soldiers are quarantined in a quarantine for 21 days in Italy. And I'm curious, some of you might be from Italy. Is that okay? That our soldiers are going to your country? And I'm asking because they might have this disease, and so far Italy, as of today, October 30th, to my knowledge, there has not been any Ebola in Italy. This is a very dangerous disease, and helping these countries is important. But the people who go here and then leave, quarantine. Should we quarantine them? Should we put them in a quarantine? This is the big question. Quarantine. Check out the dialogue.
What do you think about quarantining people?
After visiting West Africa, I think it's a must.
But what about freedom?
Freedom or public safety? Take your pick.
For me, that's what I think should happen. I think, yes, America's a free society, we can do what we want to do. Yeah, that's true. However, yeah, I don't think science knows enough about the Ebola virus. If we absolutely knew everything about the Ebola virus, then maybe we don't need a quarantine. Maybe we could do some blood tests or things like that, but we don't. Just yesterday in the news, it said 1 out of 7 people with the Ebola virus does not have a fever. And right now at the airports and everything, they're just checking for a fever. Well, if 7 people came with the Ebola virus, 6 people would have a fever, but 1 person would not have a fever. So we don't know enough about the virus yet. Because of that, 21 days, and it's 21 days to protect your friends and family. So if I were a volunteer over here and I came back to America, I would choose to quarantine myself for 3 weeks. That's what I would do. I don't know, that's just me. What about you? Do you have an opinion about this quarantining of people? I'm sure it's an issue in your country. Do people from Sierra Leone, Liberia, from Guinea, do they come into your country? Do you have doctors and nurses and maybe military people, government people who volunteer, reporters, news reporters who go to those countries and then come back? Are they put into quarantine or are they free to go anywhere? It's a dilemma. It's a big question. For me, the answer is simple. Yeah, I know, but I have an answer. Quarantine. That's my opinion. Please leave a message and just say quarantine is good or quarantine is bad. I'm really curious as to what you believe. So let's kind of take a poll. Quarantine is good, quarantine is bad. That's all you have to type. Leave a message down below. Check out the dialogue a couple more times, and I'll see you tomorrow. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.
What do you think about quarantining people?
After visiting West Africa, I think it's a must.
But what about freedom?
Freedom or public safety? Take your pick.
What do you think about quarantining people?
After visiting West Africa, I think it's a must.
But what about freedom?
Freedom or public safety? Take your pick.
What do you think about quarantining people?
After visiting West Africa, I think it's a must.
But what about freedom?
Freedom or public safety? Take your pick.